Enormous offseason for the LSU Tigers as coaching changes and interviews happening right now with another national signing day out there after LSU was able to get a top 5 recruiting class in the early signing period. We'll talk to Coach Ed Orgeron here coming up in a couple of minutes as we are we're going to tighten up with him with Musso over there. But there's a lot to get to with Coach Orgeron, as we said, coming in to the break, as there's coaching changes, the roster turnover, and the announcements of guys that are coming back, what the interview process has been like in the offseason initiative. Coach Ed Orgeron joins us now and is back with us here on a Tuesday morning on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Coach, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thanks as always for the time.
Oh, good. Good to be back on the show after a little break, man. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yes, sir.
Coach, how you feeling? This is our first time talking to you, I think, not just since the Ole Miss game, but also signing day. Put together a couple nice wins to end the year, very good recruiting class. Can you just take us through kind of dealing with adversity and then the recovery, really, of the last couple of weeks of the season?
You know, we just stayed strong as a staff. We stayed strong as a team. Got to give credit to the team and the staff. We stuck together. Obviously, the big win at Florida gave us a boost. Outstanding win against Ole Miss was a very tough team. Lane Kiffin has done a tremendous job with that team. And then for us to put together the recruiting class just goes to show that things are on the right track at LSU. We have a young team that's learned some lessons this year, but we're coming back strong.
And speaking of which, in that Ole Miss game, Coach, did the game plan call for Keishawn Butte to go for 300 yards? That was schemed up.
I wish. But you know what? They gave us something. Steve saw. Give credit to the O-line and Max. And, you know, like I said, with Keishawn, when Jamar Jefferson left the first day, Keishawn had a tremendous practice. I said, well, here comes our next great receiver. Now, as you guys know, it just takes a little time to get into the flow of the game and get it experienced. But now I think he's going to be a force to deal with.
You mentioned recruiting, and you guys got another top 5 class, top 4 class, no matter the service you look at. But you mentioned throughout the season that it was going to be as important in recruiting your roster back to campus for next season. And, Coach, you guys have dominated in doing that. Glenn Logan announced last night he's coming back. Ali Gay's coming back. In fact, you got your entire offensive and defensive line looking like it's coming back to school. What's that part of the process been like?
You know, towards the end of the season, and recruiting was coming up, I told the team that we have some very important recruits out there. But the most important recruits are the guys in our room. And I got to give credit to the staff. We did a great job of recruiting our guys. These guys believed. And again, you know, the last 2 wins helped. We ended up having a positive note. And because of the COVID, most of those guys had another year. They needed another year. They knew it was best for them to stay, and we're so glad to have them.
Yeah, and now it looks like, by my count, 15 to 22 starters returning. That number could get even higher depending on what the offensive tackles decide to do. Coach, how much of a role were the Fried Shrimp Po' Boys in getting those linemen back?
I think it was the double shrimp on the Po' Boys that got us, T-Bob.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, that's
overstuffed.
Whoever has been unhappy when someone hands them a double fried shrimp po' boy, it's it's incredible. And so as you move into this offseason, Coach, one of the other big elements, there's just so many balls up in the air, is some coaching searches, right? Making some new hires. And one of the main things we've talked about this show is kind of the process of hiring. Yeah. And are you all how are you approaching that process during these interview periods?
Well, finding the right fit and knowing exactly what we want on offense and defense. And we have done a lot of research. There's many great candidates out there that want to come. I've got 2 guys coming in today. 2 of our top guys on offense will be in today. My top guy on defense is going to be in on Thursday. We'll see where that goes. Hopefully, we can end it there. If we can't end it there, we're going to have to go to other prospects. But we feel good about our research. Derek Finansky has done a great job. Austin Thomas is with me now, general manager. He's sitting right here. He's done a tremendous job. We're on top of things. And but it's the right fit for LSU, bringing the LSU standard of performance to LSU, and we're excited about it.
Send our best to Austin as he's sitting right there next to you and tell him good morning. What does his role look like? Is it very similar to what the one he left behind?
Yes, sir. Yes, no question. He's going to be general manager, and we have a lot of employees here, so a lot of them are going to answer to Austin. Go to Austin. Austin's going to be able to manage. Austin's going to help me manage the roster, do all the things that he's been doing.
Last year during this process, when you were looking for coaches that you had open spots for, you talked about the consultation process, and a lot of that was around conversations with guys that were either mentors of yours or people that you had worked with in the business. It seemed like Joe Brady's name kept coming up for a consultation, that you guys were talking a lot about who could be next. Can you talk about those conversations that you've had with Joe?
A lot of respect for Joe. Derek had most of the conversations with him, but he asked the things that I wanted to hear, and I just, Joe, who can run your offense? And he recommended me two guys. They're here today. So, I believe in Joe and what he's done. I believe in Coach Hesbinger. I thought that those guys worked great together 2 years ago. I thought this year we lost a little bit of it. It was just because of the expertise of Joe, and I want to get back to that offense.
Speaking of the offense, Coach, one of your players that had an impact early on, the status of Arik Gilbert. Do you know what the status of his is right now?
Yeah, we love Arik, and he entered the transfer portal. We're still in contact with his mother and his family. Hopefully he wants to come back. I just wish the best for him.
Coach, when you're in this interview process, we're talking to LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron here and off the bench. Are you getting the sense, because, look, when I look at this team, we talked about a lot this year, right? Taking a lot of lumps in the short term that'll pay dividends in the long term, where you're just hyper accelerating the growth of all these young cats. And so when you're interviewing, maybe even especially offensive candidates, and they see like Kayshon Boutte, Coy Moore, John Emery, TDP, I mean, the Max Johnson, TJ Finley, Miles, like the young talent is pretty overwhelming. Are you getting the sense that guys really want to be here because they recognize they can help their own careers with that kind of talent base?
Yeah, obviously when you come to LSU and in the SEC, you're on the top and you're competing with the very best, and it's done very well for guys like Joe Brady, guys like Dave Aranda. So I think those guys see that. They know we have the talent. They know we have the capabilities at LSU of winning the national championship. We did it 2 years ago. They've seen the great team we put together. So, yeah, I think the guys are excited about it.
And then how are you feeling about this defensive line? I know I talked about it, how much I loved Jaquelin Roy's last two games. I felt like he really turned a corner there. Now you got everybody coming back. I mean, Gay and Ojulari off the edge, the interior. How's the D-line coach and you feeling about this group?
Happy, but you know what? I know those guys. I talk to every one of them. And we all have things. Start with me. We got to get better at, and I identify some things that they have to get better at. I want them to start working on it right when we get back to work. Freshmen are reporting. Our mid-year freshmen are reporting on Saturday. I get to see their parents on Saturday. Our team will have a big team meeting on Monday. So I just can't wait. This is my family. I can't wait to see our guys come back and us have a great offseason.
What did you make of your recruiting class? What you guys were able to accomplish in the early period? I know you picked up another offensive lineman over the weekend that you can't mention by name, but you guys seem like you took care of all your areas of need.
Outstanding job by our staff, and outstanding job of we got some great defensive linemen. This Bryce Langston from Vanguard Gardner is just watch him on tape. He's quick twitch. He can go. We have some great rushers. We had identified two of the best safeties. Sage Ryan, as you guys know, was a battle at the end. And we're so glad that we kept him in the state of Louisiana. And then to go to Derek Davis to Pittsburgh, get him. And there's a lot of great players. And then, like I'm saying, especially the offensive linemen coming back, that's where we needed help. And all those guys are coming back, I think. And I'm so proud of them.
Coach, what about there's been a lot of talk of positional recruiting, right? And a lot of times it's been the O-line. It's been from a criticism standpoint. But one of the strongest position groups on the team, and this is something that is very rare for LSU fans, is that quarterback room, right? Like whether it's an upperclassman like Miles, the young cats in Finley and Johnson, or even one of the new cats in Nussmeier, like that quarterback room feels as solid as it ever has since I've been covering this team.
Right.
How do y'all feel about it?
Thank you, Joe Burrow. Hey, that's the biggest recruiting tool you have,
Yep,
man.
yep.
Win the Heisman, first guy picked in the draft, national champion, graduate. What else can you ask for, you know?
Absolutely. Coach, timeline on these hires. You mentioned that you got two of your top guys in offensively today and maybe your top guy Thursday. Defense.
Yeah.
Do you look at a timeline? Does National Signing Day in February mean anything to you on timeline emphasis?
Yeah, well, I'd like to have everybody in place by the time the team gets back, but that may be wishful thinking. I just got to get the right guys in, and hopefully these guys that we have this weekend are the right guys. If not, we'll get the right guys in here.
And I don't know if everybody always outside looking in appreciates just how year-round this job is for everybody, players and coaches. What does this offseason schedule look like over the next month? When does it crank back up?
But yeah, the guys are going to come in. We'll start class. We got some academic guys, so we got to get back in the classroom, get some work to do. I got a new staff. We got to put in a new offense. We got to put in a new defense. And then in 2 weeks we start football school, where we start practicing with our guys. So and then we, as you know, T-Bob, we have fourth quarter coming up.
Yeah.
get stronger, faster, and then plus, check this out. McNeese State is playing on the weekends in the spring.
Wow.
Man, my plate is full, and I love it.
Wow, that's right. The young Orgeron, the quarterback down there for the Cowboys. So Coach Ed Orgeron joining us here just like he does every Tuesday. Real quick, one more on the quarterback. How's Miles doing? How's Miles Brennan doing?
You know what? I'm going to talk to Jack. I think he's made progress. He's not 100% healthy yet, but I do expect him. I do expect to hear some good news in the spring, but he hasn't been cleared yet. Coach,
always great to hear from you. Happy New Year again, and we'll talk next Tuesday.
Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There he is, Coach O, checking in from LSU football this morning. A lot jammed in to that 12-minute conversation. Very informative there on everything from hires, timelines, recruiting class, status of Arik Gilbert, his quarterback room, and the health there, and how much Joe Burrow continues to pay dividends to the LSU football program. We will close out hour one next.